If you're brand new to Jiu Jitsu and you're confused or maybe even a little nervous about rolling with women, that's not an uncommon feeling. With a little bit of direction, we can clear that up. And I will never forget how confused and a little bit nervous I was to roll with women. Where can I put my hands? What's acceptable? How much strength can I use, right? These are all things that we're going to cover today. So if you felt lost or unaware, or maybe a little bit nervous about rolling with your female training partners, I got you covered. Let's jump in. And before we jump into the video, just as a full disclaimer, this isn't meant to shit on women or say that they're weak and bad at jiu-jitsu. I've been to multiple gyms who've had absolute savage female killers, and they're the ones handing out the butt whoopings. I'm not talking about them. I'm talking about rolling with newer women, maybe smaller women, whatever it may be, so that you can train with common sense and respect. So you don't tarnish your name or your reputation, and you can continue to train at the school you're at and continue to get better alongside all your training partners. I'm not here to offend anyone. I'm just here to give it to you straight, give you some solid advice so you can continue to improve while building good friendships at your jiu-jitsu gym. So with that, let's jump into our first tip. The first part we're going to cover is hand placement. Now, this should be pretty obvious as to what you can and cannot touch. Private or erogenous zones should be off limits. Now, it's one thing to accidentally touch something in a sparring session. You know, it happens. It's an accident. It's totally fine. But if it's happening multiple times, it's starting to look like you're doing this on purpose, touching erogenous zones, yeah, that can become a problem. Now, when we're training or drilling moves or doing jiu-jitsu games, whatever it may be, you want to be mindful of where your hands are going, because you don't have the excuse of it was in the heat of battle and I accidentally touched your chest or your ass or something else, right? And I'll play some examples as I talk through this, but any drill that requires hand placement on the chest, you can either go directly above the chest line, so collarbones, or even a little bit lower, just to be respectful to your female training partners. You got to remember that jiu-jitsu is very much a full contact martial art, and it's a close contact martial art. So touching is required, and most of the women that are joining jiu-jitsu will understand that. Okay, but with that being said, you can still be mindful about where your hands are going, especially when you're drilling or training. Think about it like this. It's only weird if you make it weird, right? If you're training with some of your male training partners and you accidentally slap, touch, graze the ball bag, it happens sometimes. You're immediately getting out of there, right? You're not hanging out. You're not spending extra time there. You're not trying to make eye contact. It happens. You're in and out. You might even say, oops, sorry about that, right? It's the same rules when it comes to women. If you touch something that your common sense says maybe you shouldn't be touching, you can pull away real quick. You can apologize. Oops, sorry, my bad. Don't make it weird, make it very brief and keep it moving. This part of jiu-jitsu does require some social intelligence, some social common sense. I will say that if you are being inappropriate on purpose, you're going to stand out relatively quickly and you will develop a bad reputation very quickly. And I will say this, if you do that in our school, your days are numbered. So if you genuinely care about jiu-jitsu and genuinely care about getting better, you'll be respectful with your hand placements and understand that accidents happen. It's not a big deal. Don't make it weird, but you can be a little more mindful when you're training, drilling, whatever it is that you like to do to get yourself better. And with that level of respect, you can continue forward in a way that's good for everybody. And honestly, for me, it was a great way to become more aware of what my body was doing anyways. If there were certain areas of a female body that I'm not supposed to be touching, it makes me aware of what I'm doing with my hands. And it gave me a better 360-degree awareness when I'm rolling with my male training partners, right? Maybe keeping my hands away from areas where I could get wrist locked, or keeping my arms out of dangerous positions, because I'm becoming more aware of what all of me is doing. I think as white belts, we can kind of just be numb to what parts of our body are doing. We're so hyper-focused on maybe trying to pass the guard or even trying to find some kind of a submission that we forget about what all of our limbs are doing. This is a similar phenomenon that you're going to deal with once you start jumping into leg locks. You start attacking the legs, well, most likely at least one of your legs is going to be available for a counter leg lock. And when you first start learning leg locks, you're not really aware of the safety of your own feet. And you get counter leg locked and then you learn. You learn to pay attention to more things at once, and rolling with women will help you in the same exact way. So don't look at rolling with a woman like a bad thing, as something that's going to hold you back, especially for you newbies. you white belt, it's going to help with your awareness of what all of you is doing. And that is absolutely necessary to progress in jiu-jitsu. So honestly, it's a perk. And I just want to take a second to give my sponsor, X Martial, a shout out. On the mats, you've got seconds to react and sometimes even less. You train for hours to move with precision. Your gear should keep up. X Martial makes high quality, high performance no-gi gear. The fit is clean and the material durable, breathable, and built for battle. One thing I can't stand about certain no-gi brands is how quickly the material falls apart and how quickly the designs wash away. Literally every single one of my rash guards that I own from X Martial has stood the test of time. I've been training jiu-jitsu for 9 years and I still have rash guards that look brand new. And since we're talking about the designs, they're original, they're unique, they help you look good. If you're gonna go compete and you don't feel you look your best, you think that's helping you in your performance, you wanna go out and feel good about the person that you've built. And no-gi attire definitely helps with that. So if you want to look as good as me and probably even better, get over to xmartial.com and grab yourself some gear. I know you'd be happy you did. Look good, feel sharp, roll hard. Let's get back to the video. Second point, strength versus technique. How much strength can I use? Here's what I'm going to say, and this is a game that my jiu-jitsu instructor used to play with me because I came into jiu-jitsu, wrestler background. I used to power lift a lot, and I was very much hyper-focused on just strength and forcing my way through everyone and trying to force my way to the win, force my way into positions and force my way into submissions, right? He would tell me, if you have to use strength against her, you're doing it incorrectly. And then he would also check in with the women and he would say, listen, if he's using strength against you, he's with me next. So I had to very much be very aware of what I was doing and how much strength I was using to get to the position I wanted. Which honestly, again, this is not something that holds you back. It's something that helps develop technique. You know, us guys, we go against each other and it's fun, especially in the beginning, to go strength on strength, right? It's fun to see how well you can do utilizing strength. And honestly, once you learn to combine strength with technique, you become very dangerous, okay? But rolling with women, this is not something that should hold you back. This is something where you can learn to sharpen your blades in the technique department. So one thing I really like to focus on when I'm rolling with women is that if I have to force a submission, if I have to force a sweep, if I have to force a position, the technique is off and I need to reevaluate. Because they are normally smaller, lighter, weaker than you, it's very tempting just to force it, but that's not how you get better at jiu-jitsu. And the reason is, just because you can force that on your 130-pound female training partner, does that mean you're gonna be able to force it on your 210-pound training partner? Probably not, especially if it's a purple belt, brown belt, black belt, right? You're not gonna be able to force these things. So why teach yourself to do that against a smaller opponent? It doesn't make any sense. Rolling with women is a great way to focus on technique early on in your jiu-jitsu journey. And you can see in some of these examples, I'm getting into armbar scenarios, I'm getting into triangle scenarios, I'm getting into guillotine scenarios. The guillotine is a good example because many times when people first learn this, they're trying to finish it with a ton of strength. And if the technique is off, good luck. It doesn't really matter how strong you are. So rolling with your female training partners is a great opportunity for you to find the correct technique. This is not your time to full send it as strong and as hard as you can, but find the correct technique, apply a little bit of strength, and you get the tap. You can do that to them. You'll be able to find it on bigger people too. Really, at the end of the day, I'm encouraging a shift in perspective for you. A lot of guys will look at rolling with a woman as something they're nervous about. They don't want to lose to a woman. They don't know where to put their hands. They don't want to have to take it easy. You're looking at it all wrong. You're looking at it like it's a setback or something that's holding you back or something that is weird. It's only weird if you make it weird. Remember that. It's only weird if you make it weird. This is an opportunity to tighten up your technique and to focus on the little details that truly, truly matter. The kind of tiny details that you need to finish a guillotine. Again, if you're learning to force this thing on smaller, weaker opponents, good luck forcing it on bigger, stronger opponents. It's just not what you need to do. So keep all that in the back of your mind moving forward because it will help you progress in jiu-jitsu much faster. Lastly, when sparring with a woman, this is not your opportunity to roll like you're trying to win CJI. If you want to stand out at your school as someone who looks like a jerk, someone that doesn't have any common sense, someone that is way too aggressive on smaller people, then yeah, go ahead and be continuously rough on your female training partners. You have to remember, training partners, they're a part of your team, your teammates together. If for some reason you end up in a tournament and you're facing off against a woman, sure, by all means, do what you got to do. But everyone under this roof, we're training partners. We're part of this team, and you're there to help each other get better. You're not there to win gold medals in training, right? You want to keep it fun. You want to keep it playful. That's where the most learning happens. This is something that doesn't just apply to rolling with women, but rolling with everyone. Also, keep in mind that if you're coming to a jiu-jitsu school and you're going extra hard on the women in there, you're probably not going to be at that school for very long. You're either asking for the mat enforcer to step in and show you what it's all about, or you're asking for one of the coaches or an owner to tell you you're not welcome to train there anymore, because no one's going to let you come in and hurt people. Not only is that bad for business, it's bad for the school's reputation, and it's horrible for your reputation. You have to remember that the jiu-jitsu world is pretty small. And if you do one thing at a school and you become known for that one thing, whether it's beating up on women or whatever it may be, there's a good chance that the other local schools in your area are going to find out about that, and you're going to create a name for yourself. And the reason I wanted to bring this up is because this isn't something that's talked about a lot. It's usually something that's addressed after the fact. And if it wasn't for my coach 9 years ago when I was a white belt, I might have accidentally, unknowingly, hurt someone who is smaller or weaker than me. The biggest thing that I want you to take away from this is that your school, your training partners, your team, treat them like teammates. You are not in competition with these people. You're not fighting for a gold medal with these people. You're using these people to get better, and you're helping them get better. Whether they're male, female, whatever, it doesn't matter. Competition, self-defense, yeah, all bets are off. Go hard, do what you got to do. But in here, in your school, take care of each other, because that's how you progress. That's how you get better. And that's how you continue to have a long, fun, enjoyable jiu-jitsu career for years and years. And some of you guys who've been doing this for a while, if you have tips on rolling with the opposite sex, drop it in the comments, because we all can learn from that. And you never know. I often read through the comments and I can pick something that you've said as a video topic and create a video for it. So I always appreciate you guys stepping in and sharing your knowledge. With that being said, you know how we like to end them. Sometimes backwards, always forwards. I'll see you in the next one.